relationships. They can be the most wonderful experience a human being can have. Or the worst. When something goes wrong in a relationship that was once beautiful, life can be transformed into a living hell. What do you do then? Tom Joseph's book, Why We Stay Stuck, has answers to many of the questions that couples and families may ask. Take a few moments to listen to Tom speak about some of the points that he discusses in his book.
Today we're going to talk about fear and anger, and we're going to talk about anger and depression, predominantly all relating to anger. Where does anger come from? Anger comes from unmet expectations. You have to understand that the only place anger comes from, the only place, this is what confuses some people because they don't want to believe that the only place anger comes from is an unmet expectation. And the only place depression comes from is from anger turned inwardly. When anger is not dealt with properly, when anger is not resolved, it always turns into depression. So what is the law of anger? The law of anger is this. It only comes from unmet expectations. You see, if you were driving down a highway and someone cut in front of you and you didn't expect them to cut in front of you, you would be angry. You would be angry or upset. They're both the same thing. Or you would be hurt. Hurt is anger. It's just a more polite way of saying, I'm angry. You were angry because someone cut in front of you. An unmet expectation always results into anger. There is no other way to get angry other than an unmet expectation. Some people think that's pretty simplistic. But when you look at the full scope of anger and the full scope of an unmet expectation, it is the only place anger comes from. So the question you would ask yourself if you are an angry person, or you're a hurt person, or you're upset, it would be this: what did I expect? Now, sometimes there are good expectations and there are poor expectations. Many people that are always filled with anger and rage, they're usually filled with constant unmet expectations, and many times those unmet expectations are unrealistic. In marriages, there are many unrealistic expectations that one spouse holds over another. And many times there are expectations that you should have, that you should be angry about, that some people are not angry about, and therefore they bottle their own anger up and it becomes self-inflicting. That's where the depression comes from. You see, again, the only way to get hurt or angry is to have an unmet expectation. What did you expect from your spouse? What did you expect from your child? What did you expect from the clerk at the grocery store? What did you expect from your in-laws or your parents? What did you expect from your neighbors? That's the question you would ask yourself when you feel angry. Now, I want to point something out also about anger. Anger has many different forms to it. So we know that the only place anger comes from is from an unmet expectation, and the only place depression comes from is from anger turned inwardly. Even if it's clinical depression, even if you have a chemical imbalance, you'll constantly have unmet expectations that lead to your depression. Now, what about the different forms of anger? Let's look at that. The first different form of anger that you can have is overt anger. Overt anger is the typical angry outburst that most of us would stereotypically see in an individual that is yelling, screaming, or very aggressive. We see very clearly that that person is angry. Now, we can deal with that, or we can separate ourselves from that person because it is very clearly defined. But the more confusing person that is angry is the covert anger, or the passive-aggressive angry person. That's the person that you never really understood if they're angry or not. You always thought that they were okay. You always thought they had a good attitude. But behind the scenes, they were destroying your life. For instance, a person with passive-aggressive anger or covert anger, anger hidden from view, is a person that can get you back without you even knowing about it. They can really destroy your life and make you feel ashamed, make you feel ugly, make you feel stupid without them speaking a word and being very polite about it. Matter of fact, many people with passive-aggressive angry actions, matter of fact, they would be able to destroy your life, and everybody, relatives, friends, neighbors, will think that they are the good person and you're the bad person. See, covert anger, again, is covert. It's underneath. It's very stealthy. It's hidden from view. And these people will actually destroy your life from the inside out without you knowing it over a period of a lifetime. That's why it's very important for you to understand what passive-aggressive anger looks like. Passive-aggressive anger could look like this. It could look like not answering your questions, not complying with you, or just isolating themselves from your presence, and then eliminating a conversation with you. These are passive-aggressive, angry situations where you feel stupid, you feel controlled, and not a word was said. And the other person looks very, very clear, okay? Or very, not very clear, but very nice. They look like they're the ones that are the people that are the good person in the relationship. And number 3, displaced anger. This is another very destructive, angry form. Displaced anger is exactly what it means. It's displaced from one place to another. People with road rage have displaced anger. People that go to a place of their employment and they harm other people have displaced anger. People that sexually abuse other people have displaced anger. People that rape, rob, and hurt other people have displaced anger. They're angry at their life. They're angry at their childhood. They're angry at what has happened to them in the past or what is currently happening to them, and so they displace it on an innocent party that doesn't deserve it. And the number 4th but last identifiable form of anger that I believe is fear. Fear motivates people to have constant unmet expectations. Those constant unmet expectations lead to anger. You see, if a person is always afraid that they're going to get hurt, they're going to have anger in order to protect themselves. I bought this little puppy once, and I have this explanation in my book, Why We Stay Stuck. I bought this little puppy once, and this little puppy was filled with timidity and fear. And as the puppy grew up, it became a very aggressive, biting, barking watchdog. Now, I was wondering why would this little timid puppy become very aggressive? Well, he became very aggressive because he had an innate drive inside of him to protect himself, an innate fear that the predators out there were going to get him. So he was going to get you before you got him. So therefore, he began to bark, bite, and snarl in order to keep all fear away. So if someone is filled with fear, they're going to be barking and biting a lot. And if you know someone like that, they're probably a person that has a lot of fears, either from the past, present, or fears of the future. And so I wanted to point out anger, where anger comes from, what anger develops into and the different forms of anger. And I want you to get my book, Why We Stay Stuck. And this is one reason why many people are stuck, because they're living with an angry person. They're living with a person that is always either covertly angry or overtly angry. They're living with a person that has lots of displaced anger, or they're living with a person that's filled with fear. Go to my website, atthewell.net. Order my book, Why We Stay Stuck. If you're looking for a seminar about anger and depression, give me a call by going to my website at thewell.net. God bless you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for taking time to watch this video presentation. Tom has helped many individuals and couples through their difficult relationships, and he'd love to help you as well. If the information from this video was helpful to you, then why not pick up a copy of Tom's book, Why We Stay Stuck? To order your copy of the book, or if you'd like more information about webcam counseling, visit Tom's webpage at www.atthewell.net. That's www.atthewell.net. Or you can call Tom toll-free at 866-449-WELL. That's 866-449-9355. Check back again soon for the next segment from the book, Why We Stay Stuck.